wanted to own it, just wanted to take the time, learn all the things that I could about you. Now it's such a mess here, oh, we are just stressed here. Used to be so easy with you.
Thank you for coming back.
Hey, it's great to be back. Thanks for having me.
It's really cool. You're one of those people that a few months pass and so much happens. Like what you make in a year, like all the projects.
Too busy.
It's wow. I'm like.
Yeah, we've got, we're a global ministry, so we got a lot happening. So.
Yeah, so just in the last, I think it was just like 6 months ago or less, and then you're back and you have all these other projects.
Yeah, but in Faith Films, it was a busy year. We had The Shift, red carpet premiere. I was Brock Heasley, a local writer-director, and the leading actress who's coming back to Fresno to be at the red carpet of the movie we're talking about today, Between Borders. She was also a lead actress in the Chosen TV series. So yeah, we've been very blessed here in the Valley with a reputation nationally for the Valley getting behind Faith Films, or any film that's family friendly and has a meaningful message is the ones that we're promoting. And
we talked a little bit about why you think it's getting so big again. Like there was kind of a shift. I mean, now it's like we're hungry for films like that, and we had a very big lack of that for a while, and now it's making a comeback. So recap a little bit on why you think that is.
Well, I think COVID was a game changer for the world, wasn't it?
Right.
So, and it's been a struggle for theaters to get back in the game and find a new normal. But people love to go to the movies, and the movies are the best place to go experience a good quality film. So the fact that, faith-based filmmakers are doing well. They're providing us with really great products with top-notch production value. We just had Alex Kendricks here, the last red carpet for the Forge movie, which did really well. Excellent movie. And so we're blessed to have the filmmaker himself come and speak at a couple of big events and then be here for the premiere.
Well, we're blessed to have you bringing that to...
Pardon me?
We're blessed to have you bring that to Central California. So to get them to come here, that's a really big achievement. I mean, not everybody is like, oh, yay, let's go to Fresno and promote this, but you've been able to make that happen.
And that started back in 2010 when we heard about the movie Courageous being filmed. And that was, a law enforcement theme. And our sheriff and our chief and, CHP, all the agencies got behind it. And we had Central Valley Police Week. And that was our first red carpet because Kevin Downs stars in the movie, and he's from Visalia, so he wanted to come. So that was our first event, and I think we've done like 25 red carpet premieres since with talent, leading talent.
25? You've done, I think, like almost 10 in the past
We've probably worked on 140 or so films, hosting screenings and promoting them.
Yeah, since I've known you, there's been about 6 or 8 screenings, and that, like I said, a very short time.
Jesus Revolution, we had Kevin Downs brought Jonathan Rumi, who stars as Jesus in the Chosen series, and his counterpart, Elizabeth Tabish, who plays Mary Magdalene, is our star in the film that we're talking about today.
So how did you come across, how did you get involved with Between Borders?
Well,
on a
previous, we hosted red carpet. I was invited to a set visit for the filming of Unbroken Path to Redemption, the Louis Zamperini story. Angelina Jolie directed the first film, but they didn't tell Luke Zamperini's faith story. So the sequel was all about Luke's journey after he got out of the Japanese concentration camp, and what happened in the stateside. So we were on set. I met Dave Meacham, who's executive with Pinnacle Peak Pictures now. And so he brought the producer, several of the leading cast, and we did the red carpet premiere for that movie. Luke Zamperini came and made 2 trips up here. So we just, developed a great friendship, and it's just a mutual. We exist to help him, and he's helping us. So he reached out to us and said, "Hey, Fresno's the biggest Armenian community in the country. You got to do the national red carpet for us. Says, bring it on. Let's do it. So that's the answer for that question.
So you got involved kind of later after the film was made.
Yeah, I don't hear about them. Sometimes I hear about them from these guys. They'll leak out what they're working on.
You never know until the...
And sometimes I have to keep my mouth zipped quiet on that because that's their business.
Right.
When they release what they're working on. Other times we get invited to a set visit or get pre-screening. So I didn't know. I get wind of them, but I don't promote them unless I get to watch them first. So they'll send me a link to watch it privately, and then that way I can answer you and other media and pastors, leaders, school leadership, whatever, depending on the storyline, any questions about, well, why do I want to come to the screening? Why should we invite, bring our business or bring our church or bring our school to this film? I can say, well, I've seen it, and this is why. So I'm happy to talk about this one. This is very fun for me because I've been doing a lot of research, had no idea of the history of the Armenian people and the contribution they've made to our country, and especially the Central Valley. It's massive. So this is an opportunity to say thank you, Armenian people, for your contribution to our country. But it's a story of refugees. This one takes place in the fall of communism in the 80s. And the family true story, a family that is welcomed to the United States through a Nazarene church plant in Russia. And they had fled to Russia historically from the Holocaust back in 1915, 1916 against the Armenian people. So here they end up in the States, and then it's a story about them being able to, how do we stay here, and the challenge that they had. So it takes you through from leaving, their Russian home to flee and end up here. But it's amazing to me to see how faith made a difference in their lives, and how the community came together to support refugees. And there's never been more refugees in the world than there are right now. Even in Los Angeles now, how many people are displaced? So you're displaced, people groups are displaced from war, from famine, natural disasters, persecution, religious or political or whatever. And there's more refugees now in the world than ever before. So I think the takeaway for this one, especially for young people, is to learn about the Armenian history, if you live in Fresno, which I've enjoyed doing that over the last couple of weeks, is reading about it. But the takeaway is that we need to be welcomers to people who are fleeing or coming to the valley to seek asylum. We have the Fresno Firm organization here that's been huge in helping Southeast Asians come to the valley, the Hmong, the Lao, Vietnamese. So we're blessed to have an organization like that here that know how to minister to refugees, help them how to assimilate and become Americans. They're doing it the proper way, following the laws of immigration. But it teaches us how to pray. So we can talk a little bit about that in that we're here in Fresno in the middle of the 21 days of prayer and fasting.
Right.
And we've got the Fresno Clovis Prayer Breakfast coming up with Dallas Jenkins coming. So there's a connection there because Dallas obviously is the director for Elizabeth Tabish and The Chosen. But I'm excited to how people learn and be able to enjoy a great quality movie. And it's coming out on Fathom, so it's only 3 nights, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. And so ticket sales tells the theaters and the distributors, keep it up on the screens longer. So that's what we need. So we're jumping in a day before it opens on January 25th, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We chose an afternoon matinee red carpet premiere because 21 Days of Prayer and Fasting is going on, and there's a big Armenian gathering going on that night too. I don't know about it yet.
Yes, everyone needs to come to this.
Yeah.
This is there's no excuses. It's a good day, not a lot's going on.
But thank you, Fresno and the Valley, for promoting family films, that have meaningful messages for our youth. But just keep it up. We can do better. But this is a really special opportunity that we can have Elizabeth Tabish and her husband coming, the writer-director, executive producer, and executive from Pinnacle Peak, Dave Meacham, coming here.
So without giving too much away about the ending, do we have any of the real people that this is based on? What's their involvement with
I'm
this?
working on that connection.
Are they involved in this
They
at all?
have been.
Okay, so they have been. Okay.
Yeah. I think they got cameos in the movie.
Oh, I love that. Okay.
So I'm going to call after we're done and see if we can't get a shout out from the real family or something.
Right. No, that's great. And I understand they
Wouldn't that
can't
be
make
fun?
it to this, but yeah, I like to see how involved like
Yeah.
they really are and how they feel about their portrayal.
I'd like to
of,
get a
like,
shout
that.
out from them just to share, on social media or through your whatever, just to help pitch their personal story. And we all have stories, but there's got to be 1 million Armenian stories right here in Fresno, in the valley, that nobody knows about because of Arlene. I'm the son of an immigrant, and I have a story, but who knows, But this is an opportunity where we can see a family.
So what's
story.
your story? Oh, come on, brief, come on.
My dad was born in a sod hut on the prairie in Saskatchewan, Canada, and their farm burnt down. And as a boy, my grandfather, who I never met, came and pitched a tent in a vineyard and lived in the tent and built a house as an immigrant, refugee from a disaster on their farm. And there was a little airstrip nearby that grew up and became LAX. So I was I was born in Inglewood, LA. Lived on Truro Avenue off Century, right there where the planes come on either side, landing at LAX. And I'm a Canadian immigrant, Scottish, but not Armenian for sure.
Well, it's great because, like you said, we're all immigrants and we all have this story. So it's really interesting to see that because you don't always think about that. And it's...
And actually, it's this movie, working on this, inspired me to get out our family tree and get out all my old photos. My parents are gone now, and get them all organized and get ready to scan them on PhotoMine, and digitize everything and share a story with my grandchildren who don't know my story.
Right, and they are interesting. Like you said, everybody has a story. I know that we've tried to do that.
Yeah.
There is this contest in town called the Big Tell, and I know that me and Drew tried to get a story like in front of them, and didn't get picked. They had all the other immigration stories, so maybe this year they'll focus on the Armenians since there's a need for it. So people like you doing stuff like this help that.
Well, this is a way for us to say thank you to the Armenian community. Paul Hartunian, has been helping out. John Shabaglian, good friend, on the music side. So I've been bringing up Armenian folk music and Armenian current, popular music, and it's been fun to learn about cultures. But we're an international ministry, so that kind of turns my crank when I get to do that.
That is amazing. And then what can you tell us about the cast and their experiences? We're not interviewing them. What have you heard of what they thought about going through this? Because I see none of them are Armenian, so they probably had to do a lot of
we're going to get a chance to, interview Elizabeth and hear her story.
And she's worked on a lot of movies similar, so she probably knew how to really
Armenian.
dive into it.
She's part Armenian. I didn't know that.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah, so
that's great. So we did have Armenians in the cast.
That's going to be fun. So we're going to hear how this story impacted her.
I'm sure she had a real story with
representing, the family. But yeah.
And then the co-stars too. I saw like some of them. They also had some also immigration stories. I think the leading actor.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I don't know all the stories yet, so I can't answer the question, but I'm in the middle of trying to find out.
And we get to hear some more when we actually attend the red carpet because they will be there.
Yes.
So is there a Q&A? Can you tell us a little bit about what's going to happen that day?
Well, there's always a Q&A after the movie, and then we'll have the red carpet. The step and repeat, the big backdrop, just arrived. I just got a call that it arrived in my office.
Oh, I love it.
We got to get over there to Regal. This will be at Regal Cinemas over at River Park. We have a QR code that'll take you to the tickets for that special red carpet showing with the talent and all the VIPs. But you can just go to Regal Theater and click on January 25th, and you'll see this showing there where you can get tickets. So tickets will go fast with your help.
Oh, no, we'll get everybody.
So we're
everybody
hoping
there.
we can upsize the auditorium. But in the past, we've had, maybe 1 or 2 or 3 showings with a red carpet with a Q&A after. But this is
I've never seen not a packed house when I've come to your events.
It's always a fun party.
And you always act surprised, like if we fill it. I'm like, I've never seen it not. They fill up. They fill up.
They do. So thank you for your help. And one fun connection is, we're blessed to have Dallas Jenkins, the creator of the Chosen series, coming to speak at the Fresno Clovis Prayer Breakfast. Our committee always gets great speakers, but it's fun. The Best Christmas Pageant Ever movie that came out in November. Dallas has been working on that for decades, trying to bring that to the theaters.
He's as busy as you.
So he directed that, and it's a great movie. So check that out. It's going to be shown every Christmas. But so that was one of his, and he's got some new projects coming up that he's just announced. So the Chosen series is coming out in an animation, but he's going to be here for the Fresno Clovis Prayer Breakfast.
There's a
February
wide
18th.
spectrum of things he's involved
So
with.
we'll have
That's
a
really
media.
cool.
We're working on a media, with the Step and Repeat red carpet affair, so we can have him pitch the new season 5.
Wow.
And we're working on. I'm going to let the cat out of the bag here. We're working on with Dallas to do in February a red carpet premiere of season 5, episode 1 of the Chosen series.
Oh, that'd be
So
great. That would be really neat.
Can't promise, but we're working on it. But thanks for praying for that.
Isn't that neat to see how everything evolves? I said that there is a need, for more movies like these. But what I mentioned is like all very different. We have animation, we have a Christmas theme, we have actual biblical theme. Then we're going to war-torn. So that's really impressive that how much it's grown. It's not just a simple concepts anymore. Now we're like really going outside the box.
Right, and there's some great stuff coming in this year and the next. So it's important that families support family-friendly films, and we vote twice by investing your entertainment dollars in those films. You're telling the filmmakers, keep up the good work, because it's hard to make a quality film. And you're telling the theaters to keep it up on the screen when you invest those entertainment dollars in those family-friendly films.
So the general public's invited to both the prayer breakfast and this?
Yeah, I just...
how much does it cost?
I don't know. There's the banner. There's the website. Just Google Fresno Clovis Prayer Breakfast.
Okay, they're pretty. I know everything's pretty reasonable. And is it all ages?
I've seen mostly leaders there. I don't know. That's a good question.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get you weird. But I was wondering because sometimes I think sometimes we think some of those things are more exclusive, or so we don't know. Like, oh, it's invited. Everybody's invited. So that's why I'm asking.
A lot of businesses. A lot of churches, buy a table, and that's what I'm going to do. We're going to buy a table.
Okay.
So I'm just connecting the dots between having Dallas here, promoting.
You're bringing the big everything together, all the big dots.
The Chosen series, and Between Borders, and all faith films and all family-friendly films. Yeah.
That's great. So the sooner we sign up for both, because everything is going to fill up fast.
Yeah. Now COVID made it kind of a tendency, stay home, we'll wait until it comes out on streaming, But you can't compete with the experience of a whole audience experience, laughter and tears together when you see a story like this, compared to sitting at home, alone.
You don't get movie popcorn at home.
Yeah, you get the popcorn.
And this especially, you're going to get to see people and really gets. You always dive deep in the every time there was like a Q&A, and so we went to know like details we never would have known if we didn't go there. So it's really kind of important to go.
Well, it makes it a lot more fun, doesn't it?
It definitely does. Location on the prayer breakfast? No, I'm afraid to ask.
It's at the convention center.
Okay.
You can Google that. And of course,
the main part of it. Okay.
Yeah, this event is at the Regal.
This is Regal.
River Park.
Okay.
And so thank you so much for.
Thank you for bringing all this. And then how can we support you besides watching the movies? How do we support your own ministries? What's the other way we can help?
Well, I think the best answer is the theme that we're in the middle of right now here, which is unique, in our country, that Fresno has 21 days of prayer and fasting, going on. And there's power in prayer. So just pray for our ministry. We've got a lot of exciting things going on around the world, with short-term teams. There's a gal from Fresno right now in Cambodia working, in issues with human trafficking,
Wow.
and she's texting me. She's having a hard time, seeing, culture shock, seeing the poverty and what's going on. So, just prayer. Appreciate your prayers.
And is there any volunteerism that you guys were looking for? Not really, not at that.
Yeah, there some time to time.
Okay.
Like the team that we have right now for Faith Films, they just were at an event at the theater and say, "I want to help out." And so they jump in at the event time, but sometimes we'll do a men's ministry conference or whatever, or a women's ministry conference, and we'll just we're trying to get our new website up and going to where people can go there and see what's coming.
So we need to look out for the website.
Yeah, it's in its infancy right now.
In the meantime,
but we'll have an events page eventually soon.
Okay.
But we're just using
do you have any pages on Facebook or Instagram that we can follow?
Yeah, we do.
It's Your Own Ministries?
Your Own Ministries has a Facebook page, and we have a Law Enforcement Ministry Code 3 that has a page, and a Purity War Ministry that has a page, and then of course my own. You're welcome to jump on Rob Carter and follow.
Yes, definitely follow Rob Carter, because then we can see everything that's going on and stay connected. Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure when you come on.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you having me back. It's always a joy.
Thanks for coming back.
Excited to be here, and thanks for having me, Sport.
Well, we're always busy this time of year with you. You have a lot going on, so tell us what's happening this year.
This year, a lot of people have no clue, no idea about this, but Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. came to Fresno, California. We know we're coming up on King Weekend. In 1964, he came to Fresno, California. I had found out about that probably 5 years ago. I had a meeting scheduled with Fresno City College's president. And right before the meeting, I was given a newspaper article in the Fresno Advocate about King's visit to Fresno. So I'm reading it, and I'm like, oh, he came to Fresno City College. I'm about to have a meeting with him. And I keep reading, and I see the date he came. And I said, oh, my goodness, this is about to be 60 years. And I said, I wonder if they know. So my mind started working from there, and I was like, what if we do a march 60 years later? A lot of people in Fresno don't know that he came, so it'll raise a lot of awareness about the history that a lot of people have no clue about. So I went to the meeting. We had the meeting, and I pitched the idea at the end, and they were ecstatic. I ended up staying an extra hour, and we started planning. That was 8 months ago, and we made the announcement about 2 weeks ago. And
that's cool.
Yeah. Now we're honoring 60 years later, doing the march here in Fresno, California. It's a real honor to be doing it. A march that Dr. King led in my city. I looked up to him coming up being young, and I'm actually the same age that he was when he led the march here.
No way.
Yeah,
wow, there's so many parallels to this. That's funny. Were you able to meet up or connect with anybody that was in the original march here?
Actually, I was.
Wow, okay. So tell us about that.
I was. So Rob Golden, amazing, used to play for the Steelers.
I've interviewed him.
Yeah, has a Golden Charter, great friend of mine. So I'm sitting down talking to him about the march, and he's just like, wait a minute. I have, like, my architect, he was in the march. Wow. Name is Art Dyson, businessman in our city. led in some civil rights things, and he set up the day meeting and met with him, and he gave me some great nuggets and tools, things that happened at the march. It was just a wealth of information. So it was really great to meet him, and hopefully we have him at the march and he's able to speak for a few.
That is really cool. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yes, ma'am. So yeah, we're really excited to be bringing this to the city this year.
So every year you do something spectacular leading up to Martin Luther King. So tell us about the different events that you've led.
Yeah, I work with Fresno, the city of Fresno, City Hall with their events. I've helped out with the planning committee the past few years. I've helped lead the march and have done that. I have my own personal event that I usually do called Countdown to King, and we bring some of the most popular artists, influencers like yourself.
You had so many talented people there the year I was there. Oh my goodness.
And it's everybody under one roof. You normally wouldn't see.
Right. No, that was a really impressive group.
Yeah. So we bring everyone together, and the whole message behind it is a lot of the young people, they see you on TV and things that you do. They see people from the radio, athletes, music artists, and seeing that the young people see them, they can say, wait a minute, they're in the same building as this person, that person, and there's no beef, there's no nothing. Everybody's getting along. It's peace, it's unity, it's love, and we've projected that message through this event, and it's really made a lot of impact. I get messages every time I do it from students like about how much impact it's made, and a normal person wouldn't think that, a concert rally would do that, but everything that night is geared towards peace, love, and unity, and it's really going a long way. So that's been an event that I've hosted. Obviously this year, finding out about this, I said, let's pivot and do something different. Let's celebrate Dr. King coming to our city. It's really a huge thing, and it's 60 years later, so we have to. So looking forward to what we're doing this year, and we have some huge plans for next year, so I'm always planning ahead. So we're already working on next year.
Were you able to find, like you said, you read an article? Was it a Fresno Bee article about it? What was the article?
I was sent a Fresno Bee article, but the article that I read was the Fresno Advocate by Mr. Kimber and that amazing family. A lot of history that they have in our city, but they lead the Fresno Advocate newspaper, black-owned newspaper in our city. And I saw the article. I was like, wait a minute. Okay, this has a lot of great parallels. And as soon as I saw 60 years, I said, yeah, definitely have to do something. So we're real excited about that.
Wow, that's really impressive.
Yeah.
So what did he say about Fresno when he was here? Did you get any in the article? What was his commentary on?
I didn't get any comments, but I did get some of his speech. I got some of his speech. One of the first things that he said in his speech was, "Now's the time for brotherhood." And I think that goes so great with where we are now. I think it's always a time for brotherhood, but even back then, he came to Fresno because there was a fair housing issue, meaning that minorities, couldn't buy homes, based on how they look. So a group of pastors brought him, and that's what they were standing up for. And King was gracious enough to come and lend his support to our city. He did a lot of work in the South. That's why a lot of people don't have a clue that he came, because a lot of stuff he did was in Atlanta, Alabama. That's where everything was going on at. But he came to our small city of Fresno to come stand up for something and push for change. And he also pushed the city coming together beyond race, beyond color, and all that. And that's something that I think we can pull from and we can push now.
I love that. And so what's exactly happening on Sunday?
So we'll get out there. It's at Fresno City College again. It'll be at 2 p.m. We're going to get out there. Everybody's going to be gathering at the West Lawn. Parking is going to be relaxed. You can park in Lot K as well. It's a little closer. But we'll get out there. We'll gather, pray, do a few things before the march. Then we'll march. We have the same march route that he took. There's a famous picture on the flyer of him marching past the tennis courts. So we're going to march that way, march past the tennis courts, come back around. He actually spoke at the march was to Ratcliffe Stadium. So his march went from Fresno High School to Fresno City College to Ratcliffe. So we're doing the march through Fresno City College, the same march route. We're going to loop it back around, and we'll be in the auditorium having the big program there.
I love that. That's so cool.
Yeah. Yes, yes. So
And so, how long is the march going to be? Like, is that like a mile or a half mile, or is it a small march? I don't know
Not
how.
that,
I don't know how. I don't really know much
not
about.
that, not that far. Not that far. It should be about, I'd say, no longer than a mile and a half. But once we loop it around and everything, it's going to be a nice distance to be able to walk a nice portion of the march route that Dr. King took in our city, to really walk in his footsteps. Is really going to be amazing, and a lot of people are going to be able to share in a lot of history, and also make our own history. And hopefully, a lot of people will look back 60 years on what we do Sunday and say that we made some impact here. So
How long was that before he died?
that he died in '68, so it was 1964.
Okay,
So he died a few years. Yeah.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
so impressive, especially because he did live so far away. I mean, that
Yeah.
is really interesting that he made it
Yeah, he
all the
was-
way here to Fresno.
He wasn't on the West Coast, but he spoke all over the country. He did a lot of things all over the country. So, being the fact that he came here, I didn't know that being young, and I would go to Ratcliffe and things when I was little. And King was such a big hero for me growing up. A lot of kids had, sports heroes, Michael Jordan, and football players on the wall. Jerry Rice. I had posters of Dr. King on my wall when I was 5 and 6 years old. So he's always been somebody that I looked up to. And knowing that he came to our city, I never knew the history until I got older. And hopefully we can spread the message to a lot of the youth as well, that he was here and what he was here for. He was here to make change, and we can make that same change, and they can make that same change.
That is so awesome, and you always get so much pouring out every year that you have these events, and
Yeah.
it's like you get to meet different people.
Yeah.
What was last year's event like?
Oh, it was incredible. We had so many people. Rob Golden was there last year. Elton Williams. We had Fashion. So many amazing singing groups. It was amazing. It was just like every other year that we've done it. So many incredible artists in the same room at one time. And we pushed unity. We pushed love, as we always will. And a lot of people took a lot away from it. So we look forward to bringing it back next year and having some different twists on it. And really excited for it.
You meet like different people every year doing this.
Yeah,
Huh?
every year that, some people, I see you and you do this, but, everybody's in their own sector and doing their own certain things. But really having that moment that night to connect with everybody is really amazing. Either I see people meeting for the first time, or it's like a reunion, like certain people that haven't seen each other in years, and because we all get busy, with the stuff that we're all making impact and doing in the city. All of us are doing amazing things. So once we have those moments to kind of connect again, it's really incredible. Yeah.
Is there going to be food or anything there? Oh.
They may have some food trucks out there. I don't know
what happens on Sunday at City College. Is that like?
Yeah. So Sunday City College is usually closed, so it's gonna be open.
Well, that's why we can park, which is good.
Yes, which is absolutely incredible. So parking will be great. Be able to get a good park. I know there'll be some. I know Q97 will be out there. There'll be some booths and stuff like that. But yeah, it's really gonna be an amazing time.
And most people are doing the marches on Monday.
Yeah. So
I like how you got this before and everything.
Yeah. This one will be Sunday. And Fresno's hosted. I think this is. I don't want to speak out of turn, but I know the march, I believe, started in the 70s or 80s. The Fresno March, with the Unity Committee. That one is great. It's amazing, and want to push a lot of people to attend that as well, because that's our city, what we've done in our city. So that one's going to be amazing. But honoring this on Sunday, it gets no bigger than honoring somewhere and really marching in the exact footsteps that King did, and not only honoring the history, but also pushing for change like he did, and bringing our city together, regardless of creed, color, all that. So, yeah.
And you did the test run already?
Yes, we have. We got one more. We got one more coming up. Just get some final details on Thursday. But I was excited. I remember the first time they took me on it with the little golf cart and just walking. The same. It was really surreal. The thing for me was when I was coming up, 18, 19, I would go up to Fresno City College, and I'm just up there with my brother-in-law. He went to school, so we'd go up there, hang out. And I'm like, dang, I'm really back here all these years later, now working with the president in the school, and I would have never thought. So yeah, it's really amazing to see things that God has done, and how far He's brought me from being a little knucklehead just running around Fresno City College, being young. So yeah.
And the weather's been good, which is great for
Yeah,
dinner.
weather should be great. Fingers crossed everything stays the same, but it's looking like it's going to be a really good day. Really good day.
And how's everything going at your church?
Oh, it's going amazing. We started a year and a half ago. We've grown from 8 people. We started with 8 people, my team of 8 people, to over 160 on roll, and it's only been a year and a half. It's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're moving fast. We have a lot of decisions to make as far as our building this year because we are running into some good problems that we don't know if there's room, especially as we grow every week. We get new people every week. We get visitors every
Like
week.
you said, that's a good problem.
It's a great problem to have. So, we're figuring out what God has for us in this year in 2025.
Possibly
And
moving locations.
definitely going to be moving locations this year. We just don't know when. But the trajectory of where we're at, where we're going, how we see things, how it's growing, yeah, it's going to be at some point. But, we know God's going to provide something amazing like he did when we first started a year. And we were really planning for this probably 3-4 years down the road, but it's happening so fast.
That's so
And,
cool. What's
yeah.
the location and what's the cross streets?
We are on First and Gettysburg, so right before you pass Forever 21, and then right before you get to Gettysburg, our church is sitting right there. So, yeah. So it's a real exciting thing, and just honored. God gets all the glory. We're following God's path, and when you follow God's path, as you know, God opens up some amazing doors. A lot of doors people expect God to just open. It opens when you knock. The scripture says to knock, and not only knock, but to be consistent in your knocking, to continue to knock, to stay faithful in your knocking. And when your faith is active, sky's the limit. Sky's the limit. So it's been really incredible. So I'm excited.
That is so awesome. Thank you so much for coming on my show today.
Thank you for having me, Sparkle.
I can't wait to see how this year's different than all the other years.
Yes,
Every year
yes.
you really bring it. There's something cool, and this is
Yes.
going to be really cool because we're doing the
Yes.
same route. So.
Yes. So excited to have you part, and thank you so much for allowing me to come on and giving me the opportunity to speak about this.
It's so great to have you on the show today.
Well, thank you for having me.
So you've had your dance studio for a long time. I heard it's like one of the longest in town, is what I heard. Was that-
44 years.
Wow. And you had
44 years.
a different spot before?
My very first location was in Venice Village,
Okay.
near City College. And it was about 1,000 square feet. And then we moved where Bobby Salazar's is still, on Olive
Oh, really?
and Broadway. We were there for several years, and then they started growing in different directions, so we moved over to the Fulton address. And then COVID hit. We had to close for 2 years and several months.
Oh my goodness, that must have been hard.
Yeah.
But you got to stay, you got to keep it, so that's what's good.
Kept it going and got it started again, and so we've been there now, like I said, 44 years, but I've been teaching 54 years.
Oh my goodness. Did you travel back when you were like dancing?
Even when I still opened the studio, we would take students to competitions. We would have students that we went out of town for coaching, for training, and even today, I still take training. I'm 74 years old. I'll be 75 in July, but I'm still
Wow.
training and still teaching at least 4 or 5 hours a day.
Wow, that's impressive. So when I was a kid, I lived in LA most of my adult life, but I moved back here. But when I was a kid, I lived in Clovis, and I went to Stars Dance Academy. So do you have a lot of people come from there, or vice versa? I think it
Our
was just
student body, when I opened up the studio, because when I started with Arthur Murray's. Arthur Murray's was one of the only studios here in Fresno at
Right.
that time. Then a Fred Astaire opened, and then there was an independent, and that's when I decided to go independent and leave Arthur Murray's and leave the Fred Astaire tutelage. But I got my certification and my credentials with Arthur Murray's and through Fred Astaire. So
that's a lot though to try to go on your own.
it was interesting. Several students, I had left and decided I was going to work for Fresno County Schools as a tutor, as an aide, and several students asked me to come back and open up my own place. So that was with their encouragement and with my family support. My dad always said, he goes, I don't have a lot of money to help you make this grow, but I have two hands, and your brother and I can help you with painting and plumbing and electrical, and they helped me get my first studio on the road.
That actually is more helpful than money down the
Yes, it is.
Especially when
Yes,
you're
it
revamping
is.
these old buildings out here.
And it was a lot of support. My mom would do all the helping out. We would have an open house, and she would make all the little appetizers, little sandwiches. And if we didn't get a big turnout, I knew what I was going to be eating for the next few weeks, because she would make tons of sandwiches for us. So I had to support. My brothers and sisters have always supported me and backed me up, and I think we got a lot of our art and dancing desires from my mom. My mom loved to dance. She loved to plant. She went to work for San Francisco Floral for a while, did floral designing, and my sister is now the director of the Arts Council right up the street, and my niece is the director of Artists America right down the street. So there's a lot of dancing and art in our family.
And you're the longest female dancer, I think, that we have in the Central Valley, right?
Right now in Fresno, we're the only ballroom studio that's actually around. There's a lot of independent teachers. Because there are not any other studios, a lot of them will come and rent space from the studio. And so when I went independent and wasn't with Arthur Murray's, I knew I wanted to have a studio that was affordable and welcomed every group, every eccentricity, we have judges, we have doctors, we have construction workers, we have plumbers, we have farm laborers, we have college kids, we have a little bit of everything. I have some students that have disabilities, that have Down syndrome. I've had students that come in with prosthesis, and I have a gentleman that I taught, and he is dancing up a storm. Started taking up a lot of swing dancing after we started him. So it's a joy, and I still love it.
And it's all ages.
All ages. My youngest student is 6. My oldest student is 94.
Wow. That is so impressive. That is so impressive.
But the demographics have changed. In the last few years, I've noticed that it's a younger group of clientele. So we're doing an open house in a couple of weeks, and we've been getting a lot of the college-age students, a lot of singles and couples that are like starting into the workforce. But because I think of COVID, a lot of them have been, their jobs were in an office where they had friends and camaraderie.
Now they're at home.
Now they're at home in a cubicle or in a the bottom half is in their comfy clothes, and they're working from a computer. So a lot of them have told me that come in, I need to meet people, talk to people. And I think dancing is one of the few things that is left where you have to communicate with each other. Yes, you can learn some of it off of the computer, off of the tablets, but to actually dance, you have to hold on to the partner, you have to touch, you have to feel. And I tell my students that are engineers, I don't want you to think in 90 degrees, 80 degrees, diagonal lines. I want you to think from here. You have to feel it. And that's what dancing's all about. It's just communicating. And I feel it's, that's why we have all ages. It's fun.
So what do you do with people with two left feet?
You know, I tell people when they come in, because everybody says, oh, I'm really bad, I'm really bad. I said, well, we're going to have you come in, we're going to do a demo, and I always give a free demo lesson to everybody that comes in. I want them to be sure that it's something that they want to do. I want them to know. I want to know where they're at, so I can see if they've got two left feet, two right feet, two wrong feet. And then I will, and they get to see what we're all about, what the studio's about, and see what direction. Do they want to do Latin, country, smooth? Some of them don't know. They just know they want to get out. And some people say, I don't want to have a couple of drinks before I'm comfortable to go and ask somebody to dance. So I haven't had anybody that I haven't been able to teach.
Everybody's
There are
teachable.
some people that maybe don't feel the timing as well, but because they have patterns and movements and they start having fun. And that's the bottom line, whether you become a really good dancer, a good, comfortable social dancer. And we do have a handful of students that want to go all the 9 yards and go to competition, and we have big showcases where, let's say yourself, maybe you always imagined yourself out there on a stage or a floor or performing, but you never had the opportunity. Either your folks couldn't afford to put you in a dance program, or you just never got a chance to do it. So I have some students that come in and we do our own. It's kind of like a recital or Dancing with the Stars, I want to compare it to, because they wear the pretty gowns, they wear the tuxedos, they wear the Latin costumes, and we have coaches that come up from the Bay Area as well as Southern California.
Really? Wow.
To come and work with our students. So a little bit of everything.
And do they give good advice and everything? Because I bet they have a lot of knowledge to share, or are they just there to kind of like...
You know, most of the ones that I've brought in are either former competitors themselves that have either gone up the ranks and now become certified judges. They've also become top-notch competitors. Way back when I first started, I used to bring in people like Chris Morris, Ron Montez. Ron Montez used to be on the PBS show for ballroom dancing with Julia Prowse.
Oh, wow.
And he would come and coach our students and coach my teachers. And
that's really cool. It's so cool to get people like out and that are really out there doing stuff. And you get, because like you said, a lot of people won't go outside the town. So to see when you bring people from all over, they get that
to work
insight
with them.
That's
and
so
we
cool.
just had a workshop this last weekend with a dance coach from Los Angeles. He taught West Coast swing, and the second hour was cha-cha. And then he gave individual private lessons throughout the day. So, and then we rent our space out for belly dancing.
Yes, I have a lot of friends that did that.
A lot of good belly dance groups that come in. The Rogue Festival uses our facility every year.
What's that?
The Rogue Festival is an event that happens usually in March, and they have local talent as well as outside talent that throughout the whole Tower District they do events, and that's coming up soon. So, and after COVID, we realized we had to kind of diverse in a lot of different directions. I have a Polynesian group. I have a
I've seen that. I've seen the Polynesian dancing. Okay.
I have a yoga teacher. I have a teacher that does Zumba. I have that rents space. Let's see, who else do we have? We have a Tai Chi teacher that teaches Tai Chi. And then we have a lot of other groups that come in and just want to use space to rehearse. Either they're getting ready for a show somewhere and they want floor space.
You're a one-stop shop.
So we have a little bit of everything. We have our main floor is about 2,500 square feet, and then about 500 square feet for seating and so forth. And then the other
That's
two
huge.
spaces are 900 square feet of dance floor, and the other one is about 1,100 square feet of dance floor. So we have 3 sections, and they're always usually pretty busy. There's always somebody in there. And if a teacher we do a lot of wedding couples. We teach the first dance.
I was going to ask you about that. That's got to be interesting.
You know, it is. Before, when I first started and when I worked for Arthur Murray's, and I have to give Murray's a lot of credit because the training that I got from them was amazing. You had really good coaches. I had good mentors. Those people that owned the studio here in Fresno now moved back to Fresno, and they come in and they visit at the studio periodically. And but the wedding couples now today, they used to come in with traditional music. Now you have everything from hip hop to aerospace, country, a little bit of everything. I had a couple that came in and wanted the theme from Phantom of the Opera, and she had this vision that she wanted to come down a staircase, and she was going to have her husband then she says, I want you to have him roll in, and then he'll take me and we'll do our waltz.
So you had to
And then-
choreograph all that stuff that like they're just throwing stuff at you.
Yeah, they have ideas themselves, and then some people come in, this is my song. I went somewhere else, but they told me it's not danceable. And I think the worst thing a teacher can do, an instructor can do, is tell somebody that has got their heart set on a piece of music that maybe was their first song that they listened to.
Right.
And it might be a listening song, something that you would really just sit and cuddle up on the couch.
Yeah.
But you have to find a way to put steps to it and make it so that they can use it for their first dance. And it's fun. And when they send me back a video or they text me and say, oh, Miss Dee, we did it. Everybody loved it. That's my joy. That I know that then, we've done a good job.
Have you seen a lot of fights break out with that? I can see a lot of couples get argumentative when it comes in there. Because it's stressful.
I usually tell them, yeah, but you're not doing this and he's not doing that. And then I'll tell them, whoa, there's only one teacher and that's what you're paying me for. And then they do. And right off the bat, I tell the ladies, this is the only activity that, and I know the guys out there listening to this are going to like this, but the guy still gets to be the leader. He gets to be the boss, because when you're dancing, one has to be a leader, one has to be a follower.
That's how it is.
And even with my gay couples that come in that want to learn to dance, I tell them, one of you has to take the lead, one of you has to be a follower. And so you have to be able to let that person take you around the floor. And so I tell my girls that are getting married, you're going to have to let him. And I tell the guys, but once you walk out that back door, you're on your own again. You're only the leader here in my studio. So they have fun. We have fun with them. We have fun. And I'm hoping that with the events that we have a big guest open house on the 24th. It's a Friday. And
So what's the times for that?
7 o'clock is the dance demo. The doors open at 6:30, and then there'll be appetizers and refreshments
So
for the
everybody's
guests.
invited.
Yes,
That's
it is
awesome.
invited to everybody
And
to
it's
come
free.
in, and it's free.
So what kind of
It's
dance are you
free.
guys going to go over with
What
us?
we're going to do is we're going to hit the 6 major dances. Okay, so we usually put everybody in a circle, and I take my better students that have been around. They all come to help, My studio is a little bit unique in the fact that it's like one big family. I have students that I've been teaching for 40 years.
You probably have
That's
students
still been
and their
with
kids,
me.
huh?
Now I have their children.
Right, wow.
Or their grandchildren.
That's so cool.
And so they'll come in and we'll have everybody take a partner and we'll do the foxtrot, the waltz, swing, cha-cha, and salsa. And, tango. You have to do tango because everybody thinks of tango as being the dance of romance with the rose in their mouth.
Right.
But that's only in the cartoons. So.
Did people I know you say you really do have an eclectic teachers and all of that there, but do people bring stuff to you and you're just like, you've never heard of it and you're like, what's that? And then you start Googling and you're like, oh, okay, this is that dance. Because there's a lot of just new stuff that people are throwing at you, a lot of TikTok stuff.
There's a lot of new material, but there's always a beat in there somewhere. There's something that you can, it may not be a true waltz. It may not be a real foxtrot, but you improvise and you take a little bit of this dance and a little bit of that dance, and
once you have the fundamentals.
Once you have the basics and the foundation, it's like building a cake. And I tell the students, your hardest part is going to be learning the foundation.
The toppings.
Once you get going, then we can frost it, we can sprinkle it, we can do anything you want with it. But at the beginning, the biggest thing is to learn your basics and foundation. Some people become step happy and want to just more steps. But I tell them, I'd rather you have 4 or 5, 3 or 4 good steps. Go over and ask a lady. And that's another thing. With my younger people, I teach them how to go. A lot of them don't know how to go up and ask somebody. So there's etiquette. There's also... I had a young man recently that, well, what would I wear? And so I had him actually meet us out at a local shop and showed him how to, told him he needed a nice dress shirt, a nice pair of slacks, a tie. And I know that a lot of times this isn't done as much anymore. But at my studio on Friday nights, I tell people, come dressed to impress.
I love that. So Friday night for the open house, we got to come dressed to impress?
Yes.
Oh, boy.
And then once a month, we try to do one special, like we had a Christmas ball. We had a New Year's Eve party. And I tell the ladies, here's your chance to bling out, because in Fresno, we don't have too many places where we can really dress up and wear the sparkles that you see in the fashion magazines and everything. So I think with the dance comes along a lot of other, I had a lady, she says, do you know, Miss Dianna, I'm always looking online now to see, oh, I wonder if that would twirl well. I wonder if that would move well on the floor. I always wore pants. I never thought about buying a skirt or a dress. So it's a new adventure for all of them, not just the dancing, it's a little bit of everything.
I love that. Well, I can't wait to check it out.
You're going to have to come in.
I will
and
come
let us teach you.
We'll bring friends.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you so much for coming on my show today.
Thank you. I'm really glad you asked us. Gracias.
Felt right in the moment, felt right in the summertime. It felt right drinking cherry wine with you. Just wanted to own it, just wanted to take the time, learn all the things that I could about you. Now it's such a mess here, oh, we are just stressed here. Used to be so easy with you. Now I must confess here, oh, I must confess, dear, don't think I'm in love with you. Winter is coming and I don't know what to do, and there's no more use in running, no more running to you. And I don't want your loving, I don't wanna be just friends, knowing all this time